Hi, I'm Ashley Wankwo, the Director of Volunteer and Community Engagement.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Arana. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator.
Thank you everyone for being here. One of the biggest challenges and opportunities we all face is growing and sustaining a strong volunteer base while also building meaningful community partnerships. Volunteers are the heart of what we do, but keeping them engaged and in long term takes intention. At the same time, community partnerships can open doors to new volunteer pipelines and bring fresh resources to our clubs. Today, we'll explore what's working, where the challenges are, and how we can better connect volunteers and partners to create lasting impact.
When it comes to building a strong volunteer base and community partnerships, what strategies have helped you attract and keep long term relationships?
I think this is going to be our code word for today, but mutually beneficial relationships, whether it be corporate or individual volunteers, plugging people into the right area. So just really getting to the heart of what people are passionate about and finding out how that melds with the club.
And when it comes to community partnerships, I would say is recognizing and responding to the community's needs. In our community, in our surrounding community, we realized there was a food insecurity challenge. So, reaching out to those local organizations like Mercer Street Friends, who have the resources to give us the food bags, to give us the pantry to provide for these families and community in the area, as well as working with Diaper Depot, who didn't have a distribution site in this ward of town. So providing diapers to those families and people who need them.
Very true. How do you go about making strong community and volunteer connections?
I would say networking, going to community stakeholder meetings, going to the superintendent meetings, um, going into the public school districts, attending, tabling at community events, things that the city is having or the county, um, and just talking about what the needs of the community are in your area.
Yeah, I can second that, but in a little bit different way. I am always out networking, specifically at Chamber of Commerce meetings, business after businesses, um, tabling at corporate lunches and events, really just getting the information about volunteering and the programs that we have to get that buy-in from corporate partners.
Corporate volunteering can be a game changer.
Super game changer.
Have you had success engaging businesses to support your club? What's worked well in making those partnerships last?
Like we just said, corporate groups are huge. And honestly, a lot of them, it's about sweat equity and mutually beneficial projects. Get the buy in on what makes that team tick. I have a group from New Jersey manufacturers that comes out and wants to paint and wants to be in the garden. They want to be outside. It is their marketing team. So they're all about the pictures and the videos and leaving something more beautiful than it was when they came. And they want to be able to see next year or in 6 months what they did last time. So I know what I have to do to get them really engaged when I come out every single time. That's a transformative project. Some groups are really big on healthy eating or gardening. Get them hands on in our gardens. Some groups really want to come out with the kids. We have a garden club that wants to come out and garden with the kids. So making sure they come in after school when our kids are in the building and they can teach them and really work with our garden manager to do these different courses and a pizza garden and all of these fun activities. So it's things like that that really get that buy-in, that sweat equity, that people are happy to come back and see the work they did last time.
Of course.
What creative ways have you found to keep volunteers in the community engaged and feeling appreciated?
So earlier we saw a video of Miss Helen and Miss Gladys. They're two members of the community. They too were taking part into the food pantry. They were waiting in line on Mondays, waiting for the food. However, they realized there was a need. In the beginning, it was just me and Ashley providing this pantry for the whole community. Um, they realized there was a need, that we needed help, and they quickly jumped on, became official volunteers.
Yeah.
And they've been here every Monday. They are Superstar Community Monday volunteers, and also nominating them for one of our volunteer brunch spotlights.
Absolutely. What a segue. Our annual volunteer appreciation brunch is the big way that we honor our volunteers. We invite everyone that volunteers at least once in the year to attend this breakfast or brunch. And we honor a corporate partner who has really showed up that year, a community partner who has done standout work, a volunteer of the year who has just shined bright above the rest, and then our volunteer spotlights. And those spotlights are generally from our staff. Volunteers that our staff has said, look at the work they did this year. Look at how much they showed up for this club, for our kids, and really made a difference in everything at our club. And what we do is we hand out awards and branded gifts, and when they see the gifts, they're reminded how much we appreciate them and how much effort they put in the club, and that they're seen. But sometimes it can be as simple as a handwritten note, a card, a small gift, or even a word. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for showing up, and showing up for our kids. So, absolutely.
Yes. Whether it's volunteers or partnerships, keeping people committed long term can be a challenge. What roadblocks have you hit, and how have you worked through them?
Sometimes it is really hard to follow up with everybody. I have a volunteer base of over 400 individual volunteers, and I can't follow up with 400 people all the time. So sometimes I mess up. But one thing that I've tried to do is connect those volunteers with the staff on site. So they build the relationships, they see them every time, and that's who they feel comfortable going to. And then the staff can come to me. So definitely a hard time following up. Maybe there's not a right fit for that volunteer. That happens sometimes where people have the best intentions, but it's just not the right fit. At bad experiences, we all have bad days. Maybe they had a bad experience. We try to negate that and ask them to come back a second time, but sometimes people aren't willing to come back. And then another thing is life happens. Volunteers' lives change. Sometimes illness comes up, or we had a volunteer who was so engaged, but then he got married and had a kid, and the club wasn't a priority anymore. His family is. So definitely navigating those challenges and just going out and networking and bringing in new people. So.
Yes. For community partnerships, I would say it's all about communication, having backup. So we work with the schools. So usually when schools are off, we're off. So letting those community partners know that we will be closed for the day. Letting them know about like all of our days off, any emergency closings. And then also having the same communication towards us. There's been times where we haven't been told that the food pantry isn't coming. There has been like a lack of communication. So having that backup. For example, we've partnered with One Simple Wish. They're an amazing nonprofit organization to provide wishes to all of the youth in the country. But when we've had that challenge, when food isn't coming, we reach out to that organization, and they go to the grocery store. They buy non-perishable items for the community. They come in with loads and loads of bags, and we give them out, just making sure the community still has what they need in order to be sustained.
Absolutely. We love One Simple Wish. When seeking new community partners, what do you look for and how do you start that conversation? And have any of these collaborations led to an increase in volunteer support?
So I would say what we look for is someone who has the same goal as our organization. Serve our biggest goal is to serve the community. So someone who has those same goals and takes the community's needs into as a priority. Um, Really just finding that passion. Like as long as we have the same passion.
Yeah, you have to have that that same mindset. I definitely think taking on like a opening a communication with almost similar to what you said, like what are our hopes and dreams, our strategic plan for the next few years? What's new on the horizon for the club? What is really coming? And when you are sharing that with local partners who are in the same area, who are dealing with the same community, a lot of times they have things that we don't have and we have things they don't have. So there it is again, that mutually beneficial opportunity. The other night I was speaking with someone about how we are branching out to 18 to 24-year-olds and in the workforce development program. And this nonprofit is literally 2 blocks down the street and said, wait, we do that and we do it well. And we could bring programming down the street to you for free. We love free dollars. But no, so just having a conversation about your strategic plan, your hopes, what's on the horizon is really, really great for opening up those communications. And then when you partner with other partners, corporate partners really love that. They love to be able to say, oh, our dollars are going to both organizations. So that's going to bring in the attention of those corporate partners, those volunteers who maybe believe in both organizations. So really great way to bring in some volunteers.
Can you share an example of a successful community partnership that made an impact and what made it work so well?
Here's an example of what I was just talking about, Jazzwares and AEW. One of my favorite days that I have ever had at the club. Jazzwares is a local toy company. They make the very popular Squishmallows. And they reached out and they just wanted to be a part of the club. They just wanted to be able to give back to the local community. And they started out by bringing 200 Squishmallows to one of our sites and handing them out to all of the kids. And then they did another site. And they're like, this just isn't enough. So I said, what else do you have? And they have AEW figurines. And we are right next to an arena. And that arena was having an AEW wrestling event. So we partnered with AEW and Jazzwares, and we created like a step and repeat and a whole event around the wrestlers coming. They came and did a field day with our kids. Jazzwares handed every kid a figurine, and it just became this mutually beneficial experience. And Jazzwares was able to use this for marketing, for their Jazzwares Cares campaign, and AEW was able to use it for programming and come out and record and really use it well. So definitely events like that and partnerships like that.
I was there for that event. That event was so much fun.
Yeah.
For community partnerships, I would say a community partner I'm thankful for is Robert Wood Johnson Hospital of Hamilton. They reached out to me wanting to do SNAP registration for our Community Monday families. When speaking to them and arranging those dates, I spoke to them about wanting to do our very own health fair. So letting them know that the reasons why I wanted to do it, because a lot of the people in the community don't have health insurance. A lot of them don't speak English. A lot of them work late nights, so they can't really get to a doctor appointment in the morning, or maybe they don't have a ride. So bringing in a health fair, bringing in those health partners to our gym and having this across the street from everybody is
Yeah.
really what I would say brought them in, and they were bought in. Like this event is going to be amazing.
I'm really excited. And the one thing again that we like is drawing us back in is sharing those hopes,
Yes.
sharing those goals of what you want to accomplish because somebody else might have a similar goal and be able to pour into yours. So important. What strategies do you use to make sure partnerships remain beneficial for both sides? Have these approaches also helped with volunteer retention?
With community partnerships, I would say committees. Having a committee can be a little tedious. However, having people who have the same goal, share the same mindset, or have the same passion in one room, whether that is through Zoom or physically in one room, really helps us think together, helps us come up with ideas together, and we remain in contact at all times.
Yeah, no, very true. Committees help a lot too with that's a place where volunteers can serve, where they can be heard, just as I was saying before, and also a place you can check in with volunteers. One of those things that helps me with volunteer retention and making sure that the relationship is beneficial on both sides is with those check-ins. So when a volunteer is new, after the first couple of days of volunteering, I'll check in. How did it go? Is there anything any concerns that you have? Is there anything that you would like to do? So being able to have those conversations are really amazing. And that we get a lot of great constructive criticism from that and a lot of growth from that. Also with our corporate groups, it's hard to follow up with all 25, but we do a post volunteer survey, which is just a QR code as they sign out of the building. There's a QR code right next to it. It leads to a simple Microsoft form and they fill it out. And then we're able to take that feedback and grow from it. And people again feel that they have been heard, and when a volunteer or when a person feels that they have been heard, the likelihood that they will come back is huge. So definitely check-ins, post-event surveys.
If you had to give one piece of advice to another club looking to grow its volunteer base and strengthen community ties, what would it be?
Hire a me, hire a you. Not actually us, but hire people like us who are passionate about volunteerism, passionate about the community, because having us, I really feel, has built a trust from the community in the club, because we're able to serve not just the kids in our clubhouses, but the families and the community outright. So they're going to be more likely to send their kids here because they trust us. They know that we care. And then for me, having a CRM that really helps corral all of that, helps with that communication, helps with all that we do with our volunteers, and that we use is Galaxy Digital, and it has been life-changing for us.
Same thing with community outreach, just having someone to go to these stakeholder meetings, someone to attend these community events, someone to talk to the community, someone who may live in the area, someone who may speak the language. So definitely, if you're looking to strengthen community ties, hire a community outreach coordinator.
Absolutely.
This has been a valuable discussion. I appreciate hearing your perspective. It's clear that growing a strong volunteer base and building solid community partnerships are connected, and it's helpful to talk through what's working and where the challenges are.
Absolutely.
I think there are some great takeaways here. I'd love to keep bouncing ideas off of each other.
Always.
And thank you again for the conversation.
Absolutely.